Hey, Ryan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, perfect. So we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you all for joining us for today's Super Bowl 55 media availability with Tampa Bay Buccaneers center Ryan Jensen. First question is going to come from Paulo Antunes from ESPN.
Hey, Ryan, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Can you speak to the unique relationship that a center has with the quarterback, and how different is Tom Brady from the other quarterbacks that you've worked with? What's so unique about Tom?
Yeah, I think most quarterbacks have some sort of unique quirk to them. You know, Jameis was different than Joe when I worked with Joe, and Tom is different than both of them in their own ways. But as a center and a quarterback, there's a trust factor in that to make sure we're on the same page. Communication starts with me and Tom to get it out to the other guys, and having a relationships that you trust each other with is huge.
Our next question is going to come from Nate Davis of USA Today.
Hey, Ryan, kind of along those same lines, since you've been on multiple teams and had multiple quarterbacks, but what surprised you about Tom, or what had set him apart? And not so much, the yards and the rings and the Brady persona, but, working with him off the game day field, what were the things that surprised you once you got to actually start working with him and meet him and all that stuff?
I don't know if it surprised me, but just the way he works. There's a reason why he has had so much success in this league, over the last 20 years. Just the way he works and attacks every day. It's amazing that he can keep that pace. So it's awesome for a team to see how he works and how he operates on a daily basis. And it's very addictive for other guys to, begin following a guy who plays that way and practices that way.
All right, next we'll go over to Chris Franklin.
Hey, Ryan, thanks for taking time to do this. Had a question for you. Who would you say would be the top three centers in the league, and why would you place them in the top three?
Top three centers in the league. I think I would start. That's a hard question. Top three centers, in my opinion, Corey Linsley from Green Bay had a phenomenal year. He played lights out. Pretty obvious with being first team All-Pro. Frank Ragnow from Detroit. I know he had a really good year also. Obviously I want to put me in the top three. I feel like I had a pretty good year, and I felt like I've stacked a couple good years. So I think that would kind of be my top three-ish, right around there.
All right, next we'll go over to Richie Cozzolino from KKTV in Denver.
Yeah, hey, Ryan. I'm actually covering your CSU Pueblo old stomping ground. I talked to Coach Riston about you and how we have two Pac players in the Super Bowl this year, you and Mike Fennell. I want to get your take on kind of how CSU Pueblo molded you for these kind of big NFL games like this, and any message you got for Coach Riston or the people of Pueblo.
Yeah, I mean, coming from a Division II school, it's, rare to get in the NFL. There's not a lot of us. Seems like there's been a lot more over the past couple of years, D2 guys coming into the league and being impactful. But, for me, coming from a Division II school, it always kind of left a chip on my shoulder to prove people wrong. And I think that's kind of early on in the Pueblo days. The program got reinstated in 2008. And within 2 years, we had won the division championship. And I know Risto and Simo and all the guys down there, they always wanted us to attack, every day with that chip on our shoulder. And I think that kind of is what molded me into doing and being the player that I am today.
We'll take the next question from Greg Allman of The Athletic.
Hey, Ryan, I just want to ask you about this line as a whole. What you guys have been able to do in the playoffs just to get into a certain rhythm, even adding Aaron into the mix and being seamless with that.
Yeah, I think with that, it's just guys are coming to work every day, preparing like they are going to be the starter. And, unfortunately, when Cap got hurt, Aaron came in and stepped up huge. And that's all based on preparation and being ready for that opportunity. And I feel like as an offensive line as a whole, we have attacked every day with that same kind of attitude and preparation. So, for Stinney to be able to come in and play the way he's playing is a testament of how hard he works and how hard this line works on a daily basis.
All right, next we'll go over to Andrew Callahan.
Hey, Ryan, obviously, as I'm sure you know, Tom has been prolific this year from a clean pocket. So I'm curious how much you sense or just feel that, if you guys do your job up front in pass protection, which is true for any game, but specifically given how much Kansas City blitzed you guys last time and tends to blitz, that if you kind of dam that up, you guys should have as good a chance as you could possibly have here.
Yeah, I think any quarterback is more comfortable in a clean pocket. So it's going to be huge this game with Kansas City and how much they blitz and how they blitz, at any place on the field. So as an offensive line and tight ends and running backs and when we make adjustments, that's going to be huge on keeping Tom clean. And when Tom stays clean, he's very dangerous.
Next up will be John Leiter from Peter Report.
Hey, Ryan, I know that if you're like a typical offensive lineman, you probably like to run the football, and I'm glad that the team has definitely run the ball better this season than last season. But I do want to ask about the Green Bay game. It just seemed like, I know Leonard had the 20-yard run. It was kind of on a little bit of a improvised play, but it just seemed like the sledding was tough in the run game against Green Bay. I'm wondering, as you, from a center's perspective, went back and studied that tape, what you saw that you guys should have done better or differently in that game, in the run game specifically, that you can take into Kansas City?
I think as a whole, we just didn't play our best game in the run protection and pass protection, to be honest. We didn't put a full game together. There were some things that we needed to adjust and fix and play more under control as a unit. And I think that was part of it. And I mean, it's an NFC Championship game. It was a dogfight. So sometimes technique gets thrown out the window, but when we got to be better when it gets tough like that to play within ourselves and do our job.
Next, we'll go over to Kevin O'Donnell.
Hey, Ryan, you've been with Tom maybe longer than most guys on the team workouts this summer. He's always going out of his way to help whoever it is on the team, whether you're first string, fourth string, whatever. Obviously he's been the difference in getting you guys to the Super Bowl. How have you guys as a team and teammates shown the appreciation to what he's been able to do for you guys this year? I mean,
it's show appreciation. I suppose going out there and working our butts off, that's what he expects, and that's what we do for him. So I think for him, that's appreciation enough, going and coming to work every day with a relentless effort and putting it all out on the line for him and the whole team around us.
All right, next up we'll go over to Joey Redmond.
Hey, Ryan, thank you, man. Over the years, Tom Brady's career, we've heard stories from guys like Conley and Andrews, his former centers, about some kind of quirky things he's made them do, like towels down their pants and different things like that. Has he brought that into you and other quirky things maybe that you hadn't seen before?
Yeah, I think when he first called me after we had signed him, we had talked about normal everyday things for about 3 minutes, where are we going to live? How do you like Tampa? Things of that sort. And then it went straight to business and started talking about, the towel down the pants with some baby powder. And then, he brought up, because I used to wear a glove on my right hand. I used to cut the tips of the fingers off, but, he brought up, hey, do you always wear a glove? I'm like, yeah. He goes, all right, well, you're not going to wear a glove anymore. So there was just little quirky things like that, and attention to detail on things that you wouldn't think would matter that much. But again, with Tom, that's why he's been so successful, is because he is, he pays so much attention to those minor details and things that can help him be a better quarterback.
All right, next we'll go over to Joshua Allen.
Hey, Ryan, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. You made a concentrated effort to kind of cut down on the penalties that you've had in the past. What do you attribute that to? And then the second part of the question is, when are we going to get some more 6-6 gaming? And what is a pregame smoke? What's a pregame smoke barbecue the day before the bowl?
Yeah. I think, just playing smarter, still playing physical and playing with the attitude that I have, but, really feeling out the line of, what's too much and where can I butt up against. And Yeah, man, I was gaming for a while, and it got wearing me out a little bit. So I'm holding off on streaming for a little bit. But for me, I'm not doing any barbecue the day before. I gotta make sure I feel light on my feet the next day.
All right, next we'll go over to Christopher Holmes from NFL Chile.
Hi, Ryan. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. How does a guy like Brady arriving help the O-line as a unit, whether it's changing plays, quicker release of the ball, motivation, etc.?
Yeah, I think there's a huge thing for offensive line when you bring in a guy like Tom Brady, who, historically gets the ball out on time and gets it out quick. It helps the offensive line be a little bit more aggressive in pass protection. So with that, the confidence that builds as an offensive line is huge. So I would say when, a guy like Tom, who, like I said, gets the ball out on time and gets it out quick, and communication's great, it's a big confidence boost for the offensive line.
All right, next up we'll have Michael Gelkin from the Dallas Morning News.
Hi, Ryan. I was curious about something a bit unrelated to anything between the lines. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, obviously, as an organization, have been very involved when it comes to COVID-19 relief or taking on the social justice initiative. Some people say, stick to sports when athletes use their platform to be involved and speak out about issues. But what do you feel the responsibility is for an NFL club and for a locker room to get involved in affecting social change?
I feel like we have a great platform. We have so many eyes on us on a daily basis that, sticking to sports and, just staying silent on certain issues. I don't understand why there is an issue with athletes standing up for what they believe in and going from there. So for me, it's awesome what the organization here has done with, all the things that we help around in Tampa Bay with Feeding Tampa Bay and other programs that we've done with the youth here. It's been amazing, and I love that, especially here in Tampa Bay with the Bucs, that they're so involved and it's so important to them.
Next up, we'll go over to Joey Knight from the Tampa Bay Times. Joey, are you there? All right, we'll switch up and go to Thomas Heyerdahl.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm calling in from Denmark, Ryan, and rumor has it that you have a tattoo that relates to Denmark. And so I want to hear what that is all about and what your Danish background means to you.
Yeah, I mean, my family came over, early 1900s and moved to Minnesota and, kind of have that Viking blood in me. And, it's just, I feel like that's kind of where my warrior spirit comes from. And I mean, that's something that, I know me and my brother, we kind of feed into. So it's pretty cool. I guess I enjoy having that heritage and that background.
Next, we'll go over to Anton Bodilson.
Hey, Ryan. I'm also from Denmark, and glad that you answered that question. That is the biggest story about this Super Bowl, if you ask me. I want to ask you a little bit about the intensity you play with. You kind of answered it already, but can you just, in a few sentences, explain to me? Because it seems like of the 5 offensive line guys from the Buccaneers, you are the one that plays with the most intensity.
For me, it came from college, being an undersized guy. Again, I went to a Division II school, and my freshman year, I started left tackle at 235 pounds. So all I had was my ability to play intense, play physical, play through the whistle. That's how I survived. And as I grew as a player, size-wise and skill-wise, it just stuck with me. And that's just how I know how to play football, is with that kind of intensity, that kind of fire, and flirt with that line. And that's just what I do. And that's, what's made me the player I am.
All right, Ryan, just an update for you. We got about 15 minutes left. Next, we'll try to go back to Joey Knight. All right, we'll go over to Hassan Khan.
Hey, Ryan, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing great. So this late in your career at 29 years old, you're becoming more and more of a mentor, I would say. Would you say that's true? And if so, who are some players that you've mentored, and what are some things and some principles that you've taught some younger players?
For sure. Being an older player now, it's weird to say. It seems like yesterday I was one of the young guys. But for me, being an older guy, playing the way I do, a lot of younger players kind of take notice to that. And for me, I always talk to the young guys, play the way you play the game that got you here. There's things you're gonna have to adjust and change, but for young guys, there's a reason why you're in the league. By what you did in college and how you played in college. Obviously, you need to get your technique down and things of that sort, but you got to play the game your style. So with young guys, they always ask, well, how do you play? Why do you play like that? And it's like, that's just the way I play. And you have to figure out your own little niche of how to play the game to your best of your ability. So with young guys, I always preach to them, telling them to find the way that they play and elevate that. And I feel like that's, for me, I know Marshall Yonda used to tell me that all the time when I was back in Baltimore as a young player, watching him do what, the way he operated and the way he played the game, is he always told me to, find that style of play that fits you and run with it.
All right, next up, we'll go over to Dennis Wazak from the Associated Press.
Hey, Ryan, I just wanted to go back to something that you mentioned with Tom and like that whole discussion with the gloves and that kind of thing. When he says that, are you immediately like, okay, I'm doing it? Or is there a discussion, or how does that go? How does that conversation go? Or is there a conversation?
I mean, when Tom Brady tells you to do something, you usually do it. But no, it was a little bit of an adjustment at first. Especially not wearing a glove. I used to always wear a glove, and you start getting your hands pretty tore up not wearing a glove as an offensive lineman. So that was a little bit of an adjustment. But for the most part, we talked about it, and he explained why. And at first, I'm like, I can't make that big of a difference. And then you start doing it, and you realize how, especially with the towel and the baby powder, like how much you don't sweat down there when you're doing that. And that's keeping his hands dry and keeping the ball dry. So at that point, it's just he's done this for such a long time. He's had so much success. I mean, you kind of got to listen to him. You're going to back talk him. That's just not how. I just don't think that's how that works.
All right, next we'll go over to Natalie Jones from ABC 17.
Hey Ryan, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I kind of have a bit of a random question here for you. Obviously, equipment probably isn't at the top of your mind right now, heading into Super Bowl. But I know one of the first things Tom Brady was looking for when he got there was those Newman wristbands, right? And actually, your head of equipment, Brad Berlin, is right here in Chiefs country, from right here in Chiefs country. I'm curious, have you had many interactions with him? And what do you feel like he brings to the team from a perspective that fans might not really see or appreciate?
Sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah, so basically the moral of the question is Brad Berlin, your head of equipment, obviously does a lot for you guys that fans might not see or appreciate. What do you feel like, he brings to this team? And, have you had any personal interactions with him that you'd like to share?
For sure. I love Brad. The whole equipment staff here, a lot of people, they see the players playing, coaches coaching, but there's so much that goes on behind the scenes from an equipment standpoint, from a athletic trainer standpoint. And, Brad, his crew is awesome. They kick butt, daily in practice, running around, spotting the ball, moving the chains, making sure all the equipment's out there for us players, from bags to balls to, pennies and hats and stuff. So we can have practice go as smoothly and flawlessly as possible. So what a lot of fans and people like that they don't see is the behind the scenes stuff that goes on and how important that is to the success of a team.
All right, next up we'll go to AP Stedham.
Hey Ryan, congratulations on making the Super Bowl. Ryan, I was going to ask you, what have you seen through the years of trying to pressure the quarterback up the middle? Have you seen an increase in that style of play?
I think every coordinator has their blitz package and their blitz plan. For me, I guess I don't really notice that. I just, you watch film and you see what a team does and their tendencies. I think with Kansas City, they kind of bring blitzes all over the field, from the edge, from the middle, 4 to a side, stuff like that. So I think every coordinator has their different flavor when it comes to blitzes, but definitely, I mean, Kansas City is a big blitz team, and that's going to be a big challenge for us.
Next, we'll go over to Chris Ryan from WGIR.
Hey, Ryan, interested in, Tom Brady's impact just basically from day one to now. Did he bring instant credibility that this was a destination that you guys could be in, or did it have to build through, the course of the year?
You play the games for a reason. But with Tom, there's that sense of confidence of success that he has built over the years. And then you bring him to a team where, even last year, I felt like we were close if we would have cleaned some stuff up of being a top contending team. And then you bring in a guy like Tom, who, is the best of the best. And instantly, I mean, you have that confidence as a player, that you're going to have this opportunity to, make a deep run in the playoffs and hopefully play in a Super Bowl.
All right, next we'll go over to Michael Galkin from Dallas Morning News.
Hey, Ryan, one part of Tom Brady's game that from afar seems impressive, that I was curious up close, how do you view it, is his footwork in the pocket, where he makes these little subtle micro movements that seem like a really small step, but it can just give him another second or multiple seconds and just change the entire dynamic of the protection. What do you see from him in terms of the art of his footwork?
I don't pay too much attention to his footwork and stuff like that, but I know, watching film, how sometimes he's just a statue in that pocket. The pocket might be collapsing, guys might be coming on the edge, and he just takes, like you said, those subtle little steps and gets the ball off and doesn't get hit, or gets the ball off before he might get hit. It's amazing to see his poise in the pocket and I mean, sometimes he just stands there like a statue and gets rid of the ball, and I feel like a lot of quarterbacks might panic in that situation, and he just sits in there and lets it rip.
Now we'll go over to James Yarcho.
Hey, Ryan, you guys lost Alex Kappa late in the year. Can you talk about how big it was for Aaron Stinney to step in and you guys almost have like this seamless transition at the time that you needed it the most?
Yeah, again, it's a testament to Aaron being ready for that situation, be ready for that pressure. His first career start was in a divisional round playoff game against New Orleans. I mean, one of the best fronts in football, and he went in there and had a heck of a game for his first career start. And again, that just goes to the preparation of the entire group, from coaches to players, being able to have a pretty much seamless transition is a true testament to Stinney's work and the work of the offensive line.
All right, next up will be Joey Knight from the Times.
Ryan, 3 guys on the offensive front played at very, very small schools. How gratifying or validating is that going into the Super Bowl?
It's amazing, having 3 guys in the middle, really 4 when Kappa was in there, from all small school. Allie's a D3 guy, I'm a D2 guy, Stinney's a AA, Kappa was a D2. For me, at least, I know it's, I never feel like validated as that. I always kind of play with that chip on my shoulder that, at the end of the day, I'm always going to be labeled as a Division II kid. And I use that as motivation. But to have 3 guys from small schools in the middle starting in the Super Bowl is it's an amazing thing to look at.
All right, next we'll go over to Paul Gable.
Hey, Ryan, working on a story about Coach Randall and what he brings to the team. Kind of walk me through a little bit on what he brings to the team, what kind of person he is. And as a guy who's won a Super Bowl, are you going to pick his brain a little bit about how to get ready for Sunday?
Sorry, I kind of misunderstood. Coach who?
Antoine Randall.
Oh, yes. There we go. Sorry, I couldn't really get you. You know, it's awesome always having players who have played in a game like this who become coaches. There's a lot of knowledge and preparation that they can bring, not only in prep, but you know, just picking their brain, like you said. So I think it's a huge advantage to have a coach who played in a Super Bowl.
All right, next we'll go over to Tommy Rasmussen.
Thank you. Hi, Ryan. And thank you for taking the time for us.
Definitely.
I don't know if you could tell from my last name, but another Danish guy here. So we're bombing you tonight. Well, first of all, I wanted to tell you, because I'm not sure that you're aware, that the relationship that Tom started this year with the Sunglass Company, that's actually a Danish company.
Okay.
So you should get some of those glasses, because that will add to your Danish heritage. But I'm going to follow up just asking more about Denmark. You talked a little bit about what it means to you. Do you have any relationship with Denmark? Have you been there? Do you eat Danish food, or are you going to go there after you win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I've wanted to go and travel and go see that entire area, just you know, travel and be able to see kind of where my family you know, started from and before we came over here. So I definitely want to. That's definitely a bucket list trip to go over there and spend some time in that entire, you know, region. So I don't know about this year with COVID and everything, but you know, in the future, definitely want to take the family and go travel over there.
Next up, we'll go to Al Thompson.
Hey, Ryan. Good afternoon.
How's it going?
All right. Listen, I have a question. You talked about improving, and can you talk about how much O-line masterminds going to that and experiencing that, being around all those other linemen, helped you improve? And also, what was Tom Brady's reaction when you won the wing eating contest?
You know, O-line masterminds is an awesome event every year. I went the past 2 years, and you get some of the best offensive linemen in the NFL together, and you start picking each other's brains, how you see certain things. It definitely helps. Being able to, you know, like Teron Armstead, you know, really good tackles, really good interior guys that you all get together, Lane Johnson, and you start picking each other's brains on how you prepare for games, how you see film, how you know, different techniques that you might be able to add into your game. It's I feel like it's a really good event. But yeah, I think it's helped just in different ways to prepare. I would say is probably the best thing about it.
Next, we'll go over to Matt Issa.
Hey, Ryan, how's it going? Matt Issa with Fully Loaded.
What's going on?
Okay, so obviously you're like, you know, you're a superhuman, you know, you're like 6'4", 6'5", well over 300 pounds. How hard is it on you physically, mentally, to maintain your strength and size throughout the season? What kind of diet does it take to do that?
For me, like, it's kind of crazy because I don't like have like a super strict diet or anything like that. And, you know, training and things like that, being able to come into a season with, you know, as strong, as healthy as you can is huge on how your season's going to go, because once camp starts and the season starts, you know, it's always an uphill battle getting back to Sunday and feeling good. So making sure you're staying on top of your training and keeping yourself healthy is always a challenge, because, you know, you're going out and getting in 50, 60 car wrecks every Sunday, and then you have really 6 days to get ready and get feeling better before you go do it again. So you know, making sure you're staying on top of your training and health is a huge job.
All right, the last question is going to come from Joe Ellis.
How's it going, Meg? So everyone knows the center and quarterback have this great relationship. How long did it take you and Tom to form the relationship once he came into Tampa? And what's that relationship like today?
It didn't take too long, really. We both kind of have the, you know, fiery spirit, and you know, I think that has helped us quite a bit, you know, getting to know each other and knowing what we're about. But as a center and quarterback, again, it's this huge trust factor between, you know, me and him, knowing and making sure we're on the same page and how we see things, especially when it comes to protection. So for us, it didn't take that long. You know, this spring I came back to Tampa pretty early, even though we didn't have OTAs. And, I spent some time with him when he was throwing with the receivers, at the high school here in town. And it was a good jump start of what to expect from each other. And I feel like throughout the year, that trust has just, we have no indecision on the decisions that we make on the field. So it's huge.
All right. That's all we got time for today. Appreciate your time, Ryan.
Perfect. Appreciate you guys.